Hi, welcome to the bathtub. This is the cinema. What is it? The Nouveau Vague, or the new wave version of the bathtub, French New Cinema. We're trying to give you a tour of the bookshelves in my house. This is my arty shot to open up this episode, which is my mirror. I have a full-length mirror. Believe me, I don't want one in my life, but it's there, and that makes the place look even bigger, doesn't it? So it makes it really exciting, and that way you don't have to look at me in this episode, which is quite good. So I'm gonna try to take you around. That's just the mirrored bookshelf. That's the mirrored closet. Everything's a bookshelf basically here at the bathtub. We moved in here about 3 or 4 years ago, and I built these shelves with just your average, your standard stuff you get at the stupid, at the hardware stores. These shelves with the brackets, which I hope I have not put in too badly. So I'm going to show you around. This is the stuff over my desk. There's my desk, my workspace. This is the most important part. That's my window. So that's where I get to sit when I'm writing. And that's my hummingbird feeder. Mabel was a regular here, and she disappeared. Now we have a few other hummingbirds. Mabel disappeared, was my regular hummingbird for many years. And that's my window. I don't look at the neighbor's house, but there's a pretty view out there. Then the shelves, you'll see the ones facing my desk, you're going to see lots of Simenon. I've got tons of Simenon. I got too much Simenon. I got some stuff too many times because I got like the various editions of Simenon, which I'm trying to get rid of some of this stuff. I just have too much stuff. There's my Brie and Moore. Now I have a kind of a weird theory about bookshelves. I don't think you should have your bookshelves like a library, where you have all the books organized according to authors and everything. So the Simenon books are all over the place. They're not really organized together. That's the new Maigret series. I'm going to talk again about them in the bathtub quarantine this week because they're basically keeping me from going crazy during the quarantine, which is so boring. That's my complete set of Orwell. It's my only complete book set of a single writer. It came out in the early 90s, and I was happy enough to write a piece about it, and I got all those books, and I'm collecting those. There's some of my Nabokov, all my annoying, so my loving and annoying Nabokov fans, or Nabokov fans, that's what I've got there. Please don't write me. All you annoying Nabokov people, please don't write me. I get something from you almost every week from some idiot. And there's all the other stuff. There's the new Lem books. Some of these are a lot of my books are in here. I hate to tell you. There's my issues of fantasy and science fiction, some best of the years, some of my books. Various on the bottom shelf there. A lot of those are books that I've either published or had stories in them. There's our Aikman, isn't it? Sometimes the books end up on these shelves that I've been writing a piece about. Everything, you basically turn, when you're obsessed with books, you turn everything into a bookshelf. So this shelf here was probably designed to do something useful, and I shove books in it, especially oversized books. A lot of those are my magazines and so forth that I've published in. That's scrapbooks down there, a lot of my reviews recently. That's where we keep all our complete Snoopies. I used to give my son a Snoopy book every Christmas, or 2 Snoopy books every Christmas. I think we've got them all now. And there's a printer. As we've mentioned here, I kind of, everything, I went through periods in my life where I bought lots of first editions. I got rid of all my old cheap paperbacks, and some of my cheap paperbacks. I bought hardcover first editions, and I just don't have any room. So I've started selling and getting rid of the old first editions, and either getting out all my trade paperbacks and getting them back into the shelves, because trade paperbacks, mass market paperbacks, I think the only way to read books. There's our Graham Greene. We've got, what are we hitting in here? We're getting our Alfred Bester, Stanislaw Lem. There's our Balzac. We've got to talk about Balzac soon. He's one of the great writers and great bathtub writers. There's my Raymond Chandler sets. There's P.G. Wodehouse and Robert Heinlein. They belong together, I think. Here's somebody, a few people have commented on my Library of America series. Some of those I bought when they came out, particularly when I was doing academic work and writing essays and stuff for academic type my academic type work. And most of the stuff, though, I bought. The secret of buying Library of America books is to wait about 2 months and get them on eBay because they're all like half price, or they go on remainder. So a lot of those I just got on remainder. I'm not wild about that series, but some of the books are really useful to have. What else have we got? There's some of our old collections of. There was that Blue Murder series that came out in England. It's a terrific stuff. There's some of our Cornell Woolrich, a lot of our science fiction, fantasy. Here's our other shelf here. There's our Tom Dish paperback. His stuff should be, most good writers should be in paperback. The Orange Spine edition of Dickens. Okay, you must only read Dickens and the Orange Spine Penguin editions. I'm sorry. There's our Ballantine adult fantasies. I didn't grow up reading Edgar Rice Burroughs, but because he spent so much time in California, I've always wanted to read more of him and write a piece about him because he seems like such a California writer. There's our digest-sized paperbacks. I really love those little digest-sized paperbacks. There's a whole bunch of the A.A. Fair books I wrote a piece about. Down there you'll see, is it Chekhov? I think I have the complete set of Constance Garnett's Chekhov books that came out in those little tiny digest-sized hardbacks around the turn of the century. I used to pick them up in England. These science fiction specials, a lot of the old Hardy Boy books. I grew up reading the stupid Hardy Boy books. What else? And there's our Barth. So we've got a lot of friends of John Barth in here. And there's I've shown some of this. This is a lot of, I love Iris Murdoch. And I bought all those as first editions in England over the years. I love those. They're all kind of the same size. I love that set. There's Dr. Dolittle. Dr. Dolittle is probably one of the biggest influences on my creative life as a writer. And there's a lot of the Jack Kirby stuff I picked up because I grew up reading Jack Kirby. And The Spirit I used to love. I could live without those Batman books. I'm selling them. There's Uncle Scrooge. And there's a lot of other stuff up there. Now, as I mentioned, we basically turn everything into a bookshelf here at the bathtub. So basically, I said to myself at one point, I'm only going to keep as many books as I fit on these shelves. And of course, I had to open up the closet. I built shelves in there, and they're in 2 layers. So the tall books are in the back so I can sort of see them. There's lots of those great old penguins of Thomas Wolfe. And there's your Samuel R. Delany. And there's lots of these old paperbacks I love. There's your Philip K. Dick, Robert Graves. You know, down here in the bottom, these are books. There's one of my books down there. These are books that I've got extra copies of or I'm getting rid of because I have too many copies of them. And I sell a lot of this stuff on eBay. So, what else is, here's some more in here. It's getting kind of dark in here, so this is a weird closet, but there's the whole shelf in here. There's the old Jim Thompson when he was rediscovered a black lizard. And what else have we got in here? I hope this is going to be clear. John O'Hara has got it. We definitely got to talk about John O'Hara. I never read a lot of pulp stuff, but I'm interested in reading those old shadows for some reason. Bob Shaw, there you go. Andy out in Northern Ireland. There's your Bob Shaw, Northern Ireland science fiction greatest. There's all my lovely old, I love Isaac Bashevis Singer short stories. And down the bottom, some of those are my books. Some of them I'm trying to just sell so I can make room. I'm basically spend most of my life trying to either find places to put my books so I can find the books. And I've even got shelves up above there that I can't really get to them. So let me show you a couple more places because basically there's only so much room in the house. Let me see if I gotta turn on all these lights. So this room's a bit of a mess because we're cleaning up and trying not to go crazy here in the quarantine. And I've got another closet where we have some of our sheets and stuff, but I put a bunch of other shelves down in here. It's a little dark, but there's some kind of cool books in there. You know, so again, I love the old orange spined penguins, and I'm not a Melville fan, but maybe someday I will be. There's old Greg Benford's Timescape. That's a really good book. I used to know Greg when I was a kid, and still hear from him once in a while. What else have we got? There's a lot of my son's chores when he was a kid, and there's still kids still play with when they come over. A. Merritt, I don't really know his work. And we're gonna go one more place, and oh, well, there's look at Lucky with it. It's Lucky with a ball. Oh, it's Lucky with his ball. Oh, her ball. What am I calling her, girl? Oh, we gotta watch out. Oh, you're in it. You get it? Well, you're in it now, hon. So it's okay. You look presentable. You're not. Oh, it's very dark down here. We're going to the laundry room. This just really shows you. I mean, the people who are going to actually find this interesting, if anybody finds it interesting. Do I have another light here? Anyway, this is my wife's studio, where she paints some lovely pictures. A lot of silver things. That's old Misty. And there's all our lovely pictures of this. She's been doing in just the past 2 or 3 years. I'm quite amazed by how. There's Lucky jumping up on me. And there's this a lot. Half of these are books that I'm selling on eBay, and the other half are books I just don't know where to put them. So there's a big jumble, and there's a lot of my old DVDs. Those are a lot of my old books in the back. And I was going to say one last thing about my library's organization method, which is that there is no organization. And I don't know if most of you know this famous essay by Walter Benjamin called Unpacking My Library. But I've unpacked my library many times over the years. And what's wonderful about unpacking our libraries is that when we have them in boxes and they're sort of randomly assembled in these boxes, they come out of the boxes and they look like brand new books. And there's something about when they're just too tidily arranged on the shelves that they kind of become like you're in a library. So I try to keep them by author when I can, but I try also not to be too picky about it and be too obsessive about where they're organized. They're pretty disorganized in many ways. And particularly, there again, even the Iris Murdochs, so they're spilled all over the place. Some of my Maupassant's over there, and some of it's up there, and that's about it. So my personal feeling is that if anyone finds this interesting, you're even more going crazier than I am about the quarantine. But at the same time, this has given us all something to do. There's my Manhattan. I put it down for all this time. And we'll talk to you soon. I'll put a shirt on for the next episode. And just try not to do anything useful. That's all I can tell you. And if any of your Nabokov fans want to write me some idiot letter, just send it to yourself, will you please? All right, we'll talk to you soon. Bye.